there is something quietly surprising about the eating habits of Anne, Princess Royal. In a world filled with grand banquets, silver trays, and carefully prepared royal meals, one might expect her to enjoy every luxury placed before her. Yet, the truth is quite different. There are foods she firmly avoids, dishes she politely declines, and habits that set her apart even within her own family. For example, she has little patience for overly fancy meals. She prefers simplicity over display. And perhaps most surprising of all, she has been known to skip courses entirely if they do not suit her taste. Why would a royal, with access to the finest chefs, choose such a plain approach to food? This quiet mystery opens the door to something deeper. It tells us not just what she eats, but who she truly is. Behind palace walls, away from public ceremonies, her choices reveal discipline, independence, and a life shaped by duty rather than indulgence. Today, we will explore 15 strange and fascinating food habits of Princess Anne. Some are charming, some are unexpected, and a few may even change how you see royal life itself. As we begin, you may find yourself wondering how much of this world feels familiar and how much feels far away. If any part of this story brings back memories of your own routines or traditions, feel free to share your thoughts. Many people enjoy hearing how others connect with these quiet details of daily life. One of the first things to understand is that Princess Anne has never been drawn to luxury for its own sake. According to royal biographers, including Sally Bedell Smith, Anne has always preferred function over form. This is clear in her wardrobe, her work ethic, and even her meals. She is known to avoid rich sauces. Cream-heavy dishes, often served at formal events, do not appeal to her. Instead, she chooses food that is straightforward and nourishing. Grilled meats, simple vegetables, and modest portions are her preference. This may seem unusual in royal settings, where presentation is often as important as taste. But why does she resist these rich foods? Some suggest it comes from her upbringing. As the daughter of Queen Elizabeth II, she was raised with strong values of restraint and responsibility. Food was never meant to be a source of excess, but rather a part of daily routine. This leads us to another quiet habit. Princess Anne reportedly dislikes overly sweet desserts. While many might look forward to elaborate puddings or pastries, she often passes them by. A simple fruit dish or nothing at all is often her choice. Have you ever found yourself turning away from something others enjoy simply because it does not suit you? In this way, her habits feel very human. If you find these small insights interesting, you might consider subscribing to continue exploring more stories like this. Many viewers enjoy uncovering these hidden layers of royal life. There is also a strong sense of practicality in how she approaches meals. Unlike some members of the royal family, Anne does not linger long at the table. Meals are often quick and purposeful. Time for her is better spent on work than on extended dining. This may connect to her well-known dedication. She has carried out thousands of official engagements over the years, making her one of the hardest working royals. Food, in this context, becomes fuel rather than pleasure. Another interesting detail comes from reports about her dislike of certain textures. Soft, overly processed foods are said to be unappealing to her. She prefers something with structure, something that feels real and grounded. This raises an interesting question. In a world where comfort foods are often soft and rich, what does it say about a person who chooses the opposite? Some historians suggest that her love of equestrian life plays a role. As a skilled horsewoman and even an Olympian in 1976, she developed habits that support an active lifestyle. Heavy meals would only slow her down. As we continue, think about your own daily choices. Do they reflect comfort, habit, or purpose? Another quiet detail is her approach to breakfast. Unlike the traditional royal spread of eggs, bacon, and pastries, Anne is said to prefer something much lighter. Often, it may be as simple as toast or cereal, taken without fuss. There is no sense of ceremony in her morning meal. It is simply the start of the day. If you have your own morning routine that has stayed the same over the years, you may understand this sense of comfort in simplicity. Feel free to share it in the comments. Many people enjoy reading how others begin their day. Moving further, there are reports that she avoids trendy or fashionable foods. While new dishes come and go in popularity, Anne remains steady in her preferences. She does not chase novelty. This sets her apart in a world that often celebrates change and excitement. Instead, she values consistency. Even at formal dinners, where chefs may prepare complex menus, she is known to quietly eat only what she prefers, leaving the rest untouched. This is done without making a scene, but it is noticed. It brings us to an important idea. True confidence often shows itself in quiet choices. As we begin to uncover more of these habits, the picture becomes clearer. Princess Anne is not guided by luxury or expectation. She follows her own path, even in something as simple as food. And this is only the beginning. As we continue, the pattern becomes even clearer. Princess Anne's approach to food is not about denying pleasure, but about choosing what truly matters to her. This brings us to another quiet but telling detail. She is known to avoid unnecessary courses during formal meals. While a royal dinner may include several carefully planned dishes, she may simply eat one or two. This is not done out of disrespect. Instead, it reflects a deep sense of control. She eats what she needs and nothing more. In a setting where abundance is expected, her restraint stands out. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by too many choices on a table? There is something calming about keeping things simple. According to accounts from former royal staff, Anne has also shown little interest in exotic or rare ingredients. Foods that are flown in from distant places or prepared in unusual ways do not seem to impress her. She prefers what is familiar, what is reliable. This may seem surprising in a household that has access to the finest ingredients in the world. Yet her choices suggest that comfort does not always come from rarity, but from consistency. If this idea speaks to you, you might consider sharing your thoughts. Many people find comfort in simple meals that have stayed with them over the years. There is also a strong sense of independence in how she eats. Unlike some royal traditions, where meals follow strict patterns, Anne has been known to adjust her choices without concern for expectation. If a dish does not appeal to her, she simply does not eat it. This quiet confidence has been noted by royal observers for decades. It is part of what makes her presence so steady and grounded. Another interesting point is her reported dislike for overly decorative presentation. While royal chefs often create meals that look like works of art, Anne is said to care very little for appearance. For her, food is not meant to impress the eye, but to serve a purpose. This creates a gentle contrast with the world around her. In royal dining rooms, where detail is carefully arranged, her focus remains unchanged. It raises a simple question: do we eat with our eyes or with our needs? Her approach to lunch follows a similar pattern. Meals are often light and practical. Sandwiches, salads, or something equally straightforward are common choices. There is no sense of indulgence in the middle of the day. This reflects her long-standing work ethic. Princess Anne has often been described as one of the most dedicated members of the royal family. Her schedule leaves little room for long breaks, and her meals reflect that pace. If you have ever worked through a busy day with a quick meal, you may recognize this habit. At this point, you may begin to see a deeper theme. Her food choices are not random. They are closely tied to her identity. According to royal historian Hugo Vickers, Anne has always been practical to the core. This practicality extends to every part of her life, including what she chooses not to eat. One of the more surprising details involves her reported avoidance of heavily spiced foods. While many people enjoy bold flavors, Anne is said to prefer mild seasoning. Strong spices can overpower the natural taste of food, and this does not appeal to her. This preference again points to simplicity. She values clarity over intensity. Have you ever noticed how your taste changes over time? What once felt exciting may later feel overwhelming. Another quiet habit is her approach to evening meals. Dinner, often the most formal meal of the day in royal settings, remains simple for her. She does not treat it as a grand event, even when it is one. This steady attitude has remained consistent over the years. From her younger days to her later life, her habits have changed very little. If you have enjoyed this journey so far, you might consider subscribing to continue exploring these thoughtful stories. Each one reveals a different side of history that often goes unnoticed. There is also something worth noting about her discipline. Reports suggest that she rarely snacks between meals. This is quite different from modern habits, where small bites throughout the day are common. Her routine appears structured and intentional. Meals happen at set times, and that is enough. This level of discipline may come from her early training. As a young royal, she was taught the importance of routine and self-control. These lessons seem to have stayed with her throughout her life. It invites a moment of reflection. How much of our daily routine is shaped by early habits? Another detail that often surprises people is her indifference to fashionable diets. Over the years, many trends have come and gone, from low-fat to high-protein plans. Yet there is no strong evidence that Anne has followed any of them. She does not appear to chase trends. Instead, she remains steady in her choices. This gives her lifestyle a timeless quality. While the world changes, her habits remain. Even when traveling, where new foods are often presented, she is known to stay close to what she knows. This can be seen as both cautious and consistent. As we move closer to the final part of our story, a deeper understanding begins to form. Princess Anne's eating habits are not about restriction, but about clarity. She knows what she likes, she knows what she does not, and perhaps most importantly, she is comfortable with that. As we reach the final part of this quiet exploration, the meaning behind Princess Anne's food habits begins to settle into something deeper. What first appeared as simple preferences now feels like a reflection of character, shaped over many years of duty, discipline, and quiet strength. One of the most telling details is her consistent avoidance of excess. Even during grand state banquets, where tables are filled with carefully prepared dishes, she does not change her behavior. She remains steady, choosing only what she needs. This is not just a habit, it is a principle. In a world where abundance is often seen as success, her restraint tells a different story. It suggests that true confidence may come from knowing when enough is enough. Have you ever noticed how rare that kind of certainty can be? There are also reports that Princess Anne prefers meals that remind her of routine rather than celebration. While others may look forward to special dishes during events, she often stays with familiar choices. This creates a sense of continuity in a life that is otherwise filled with change. Royal life, after all, is not as predictable as it may seem. Travel, ceremonies, and public duties can shift daily schedules. In such a life, simple meals may offer a quiet sense of stability. This idea becomes even more meaningful when we consider her long years of service. Over decades, she has carried out thousands of engagements, often without seeking attention. Her approach to food mirrors this same quiet dedication. If this story has brought to mind your own routines or memories, you are warmly invited to share them. Many people find comfort in these small familiar patterns that shape everyday life. Another detail worth reflecting on is her lack of interest in indulgent dining experiences. While many might see a royal dinner as an opportunity to enjoy something special, Anne seems to see it as just another part of the day. This perspective gently shifts how we think about luxury. Perhaps it is not about what is offered, but about what is chosen. There is also a sense of emotional balance in her habits. Food is not used as a reward, nor as a distraction. It holds its place as nourishment, nothing more and nothing less. This may explain why she avoids foods that are overly rich or heavily sweet. Such dishes often bring comfort in moments of stress or celebration. Yet she appears to rely on other forms of balance. Her connection to outdoor life may be one of those forms. Known for her love of the countryside and horses, she has always stayed close to physical activity. This lifestyle naturally supports simpler eating habits. It also connects her to a more traditional way of living, where meals were practical and tied to daily work. Have you ever felt that certain habits keep you grounded, even as life changes around you? According to several royal commentators, Anne's consistency is one of her most defining traits. Whether in public duty or private routine, she rarely strays from what she believes is right. This includes what she chooses not to eat. As we look back at these 15 strange and fascinating habits, a quiet pattern appears. She avoids rich sauces, overly sweet desserts, heavy spices, and unnecessary courses. She keeps her meals simple, her portions modest, and her routines steady. Individually, these details may seem small, but together they form a clear picture. It is the picture of a person who values purpose over pleasure, clarity over display, and discipline over indulgence. This does not mean her life lacks enjoyment. Rather, it suggests that her sense of satisfaction comes from somewhere deeper than food. Perhaps it comes from duty fulfilled, from work completed, or from the quiet pride of staying true to oneself. If you have enjoyed uncovering these gentle insights, you might consider subscribing to continue exploring more stories like this. There is always more beneath the surface, waiting to be understood. As we come to the final moments of this story, it is worth pausing to reflect on what we have learned. Not just about Princess Anne, but about the nature of choice itself. Food is a daily part of life. It is something we all share, no matter where we come from. Yet within these everyday choices, we reveal small pieces of who we are. In her case, those choices speak softly but clearly. They tell us that even in a world of great privilege, simplicity can still hold great value. That even when offered everything, a person may still choose only what they truly need. And perhaps in that quiet restraint, there is a kind of freedom. A freedom from expectation. A freedom from excess. A freedom to remain unchanged, even as the world moves forward. As you return to your own table, your own routines, and your own quiet habits, you may find yourself looking at them in a new way, not as small or ordinary, but as meaningful reflections of a life lived with intention. And in that simple understanding, there is something quietly powerful,